Welcome to Mom's Musings. Today I'm going to be showing you some ideas and techniques to decorate wooden letters such as these. There are several creative ways to do it depending on your style and your look, depending on what you want. To start out, you are going to need Mod Podge. You're going to need the paint of your color for the base of the wooden letter. You're going to need scissors, permanent marker, possibly a candle, it's one of the techniques we'll use, as well as upholstery nails or carpet tacks depending on what look you're going for. And last but not least, you will need burlap. Now to start out, you're going to place your letter. I've already pre-painted mine. Do that ahead of time, at least let it dry for about 3 to 4 hours so it's no sticking. I'm going to place my letter on top of the burlap. And from there I'm going to take the permanent marker and I'm going to trace, but I'm not going to do it exactly next to the letter. You don't want the permanent marker touching the letter and transferring onto the letter. You're going to want to be a little bit off the edge. That also gives you space for when you cut, because burlap does fray really easily. This is what I mean by not directly next to the letter. I'm just literally doing it just on the outer edge. I'm leaving a small space. You don't, probably about the tip of your marker space between there. And you will do that all the way around the letter until you have completely traced the letter. I have now finished tracing my letter. It's going to look very much like this on the burlap. You are just going to cut along that seam until you have completely cut out the letter on the burlap. Now after you've cut out, as you will notice that the burlap is starting to fray, which is what I told you about, that it does fray easily. Now, if you are not wanting to do the burning effect on this, which I will show you in a minute, then at this time you will flip your letter over to the back side. Get your brush and your Mod Podge. You don't need a lot. You don't need to coat the entire thing. You literally just need to make sure you get a good amount on just the edge. If it's piled up a little bit, that's fine. It doesn't need to be super thin. You do want to keep it from fraying, but make sure it is the way that you want it to look. If you want a more rustic look, then you're going to want a little bit of fraying to be kept there. But if you want a more clean cut, then you're going to need to cut off these little frayed edges over here, depending on the look that you're going for. Now, if you don't want the Mod Podge simple edge, you do have the option to burn the edge to give it a more rustic look, as I have done here. I have taken a little bit of burlap so I can show you. You don't have to do much. It burns really easily. See, you just let that ember blow out. You can blow on it, but it's just going to make it burn more if for a deeper edge. And you can do that as much as you want, as deep as you want. But remember to cut extra around that letter so that you can do this. Now when you cut out your letter, if you wanted it to be a clean edge, you want to make sure you had none of the marker showing. But if you wanted it to be a burnt edge, you're going to need to keep that marker showing, because that's the part that you're going to burn off. And that way it can give you a nice rustic look that makes it look like it's kind of old. It will still fray a little, but not as bad as if you did not do anything to it at all. You don't need to Mod Podge the entire burlap. Now once you either have the edges Mod Podged or burned to your liking, that's when you're going to attach them to the actual wooden block. A lot of people think you need to Mod Podge all of it. No, and sometimes that makes it have a texture or look to it that doesn't look as pleasing. So you actually don't need that since you're going to be using the tacks. There are several different types of tacks. I literally get mine just from Walmart. You got plain silver, you got flat black, You got carpet tacks that will give a really old rustic look. And then you get these basic little bronze looking ones. Today I'm finishing up a letter that I already started. We have a big family, so we have a lot of letters in our family. And I'm going to be finishing up this letter S. To start out, you will always want to find the base to start out on. So such as on the C, I would have started out here before working my way around the outside or the inside. So I will be doing the same on the S. I worked out here, and now I'm going to be working my way around on the outer edge to finish this up. Now as you can see, you want to make sure you space them pretty evenly. I mean, I use the squares on the burlap as a marker for myself. So I know from, as I did it, from one point to the next point, I have about 5 square spaces. So that's how I keep it even and look at it. If you're a little off, it's okay. It's supposed to look kind of custom, homemade, rustic. So you don't need to be worried about how perfection. I know that right here, not all of mine are straight or perfectly spaced, but that's okay. It's my letter, I made it, and that's the uniqueness to it. Okay, so right now I'm about halfway through. This is how it should look on most curved letters, and this is how I space it. You can space it bigger. This is how much I've spaced it. This will take me about 2 packages of 30 of the bronze or antique brass upholstery tacks to use. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up so we can show you the final product here in a minute, but this will give you an idea of what it should look like about halfway through. We have now finished the letter S that I was working on. To keep some ideas to keep in mind when you're doing this is when take a tack when you're going to shop for your wooden letter, and to set it to the edge so that you know how thick that letter is and if your tack will go through the bottom. You don't want to have to bend the tack on the other side or cut it off. It will really take away from your letter. Once again, I hope you enjoyed my show with your burnt letter or your regular letter. We will be doing other shows showing you how to make fabric flowers later on that you can also conveniently add on to these beautiful letters, as well as learning how to decoupage certain types of furniture, maybe something that you messed up, maybe uplifting something. Hope you enjoy it. Come see me next time at Mom Musings.